Welcome to another challenge lab by Scalable for AZ900. This time we're going to configure RBAC, or Azure Role-Based Access Control. So we're currently here as an administrator, and what we want to do is give the network contributor role to a specific user in our organization, but only for a specific resource group. And the way that this works is that we go to the resource group in question, in this case via resource groups, it's this one. And then there, we select IAM on the left-hand side. So that allows us to create some permissions for scoped to this particular resource only in the resource tree, right? So here we can add a role assignment. And we get to this huge list of existing roles, and then we find the network contributor. There we go, network contributor. And next, and then we select whom to assign that role to. In our case, we had a user. We just select the member. Now there are quite a lot of people in this organization, so I need to copy paste the email address to be able to find the correct one. Now it's selected. So that should be it. Let's assign. All right, so next I'm going to change my user to be the dev user. And then try to create a virtual network here. So create. We're going to use this resource group. Call this vnet1. We'll put into East US 2. Then for IP addresses, I'm happy with the default one. Then I wanted to have a subnet. It's called production. All right, let's create that. And you see it doesn't complain, so this should succeed. Great, that worked. So next up, what we could try to do is create a storage account. So the thing here is that our user only got the network contributor role, so they shouldn't be able to create storage accounts. We can try that out. There we go, storage account, resource group is correct. We're going to give it a nice name. Let's say East US 2 is okay and everything is okay. And then we go to review and create. And you can see immediately there's a validation error here. So what that means is that Azure thinks that there's something wrong with this request. We can click on it and we can see that we have an error. If we look at the error, ooh, it's not even showing us the error because we probably don't have permissions to view the error, right? So literally we can't even see anything. And then the reason for that is that we just don't have the permissions to do that. All right, so let's go back into our admin user account. And let's create a custom role. So what we need here is a Cloud Shell instance. Let's use PowerShell and let's create a storage account. All right, that's done. So when we want to create our own role, it's basically a combination of individual permissions or operations. And so how do we know what operations are available? Well, there is a command called get-az provider operation. All right. And now it's a good idea to limit this a little bit because there are a lot of them. So what we're going to limit it to here is compute operations. It's going to be Microsoft.compute / within compute. We especially interested in virtual machines. So I'm going to say virtual machines, and then / asterisk for everything. And now this might be a little bit messy, so let's pipe it to FT and then pick operation description and description as the fields that we're interested in, and let's auto size that to our current screen. There we go. So these are all of the operations that are available for virtual machines, as well as the description of them. So we could build from this, but it's maybe a little bit complicated to kind of, depending on the service, there might be quite a lot of these. So kind of another way to look at this would be to look at an existing role instead. We can do that as well. Okay, sorry, something happened to my screen there. So let me just try here. So if we want to get the contents of an existing role, we can do that by calling get-az role definition. And in our case, we're interested in the virtual machine contributor one, right? Contribute, or the one that we just gave to our dev user. And again, this might look a little bit funny directly. So we're using something called convert to JSON, and then we're saving that in a file. And they're going to know soon why we need to save that in a file. Let's just call it VM operator role.json. Okay, now that's done. And we can open that file here in the editor. Okay, so let's edit. Here we have the definition in JSON, so you can see it's actually a list of all of the actions that are permitted. So first of all, we want to create a virtual machine operator role here. So let's first of all change the name to be operator, right? Then we need to remove the ID property, and we need to set is custom to be true, because this is a custom role created by us. And then for the description, you might put something else in there, something like lets you view, start and stop virtual machines. Okay. So now with the actions down here, we basically need to remove everything except for compute read, anything read, and then virtual machines start action and deallocate actions. It might be easiest to just delete all of this from here, and then just replace it by the the three options that are required. So it was we can read anything, so like view, and then we need to be able to start. That's an action. And then we need to be able to stop, which in Azure is called deallocate. Cool. So now we have the three things that that are required for us. So let's save this. Maybe get rid of the editor itself. There we go. And now we can create that custom role of ours. So it's the command for it is new AZ role definition, right? And now we're going to use the JSON file. So we're going to use input file. And that's going to be home, cloud, drive, and then it was VM operator role. Exactly. Well, we're not able to do that. But that's as expected because, of course, our permissions here in the lab environment are restricted. So we can't really create any custom roles. Otherwise, we could just create a custom role for ourselves that has all permissions and then assign that role to ourselves as well, right? So, but in a real environment, that's how the process works, and that's how you could create your custom role. Thank you again for hanging out here during this lab. I hope you learned something new, and see you in the next one. Till then.